Alrighty then, hey guys, the One Good Road here. Today I wanted to make a video, or actually two different types of videos on the top 5 cycling apps which I would recommend to use on your smartphone while you're riding. So I've got a list here and I'm going to run through them, and then I've got another video which I'm going to make which is a bicycle touring recommended apps, well, for touring. Because cycling, touring, it's like slightly different motives, I suppose. But anyway, let's just get into the cycling one. So the first one which I have, and I'll start with number 5 and then working my way down the list, is Strava. Now, a lot of you have obviously probably heard of Strava. In fact, I don't even have it on my home. Oh, I still do. I have it on my home screen still. To me, I don't use Strava as much as I used to because one of the apps which I'm going to mention is I use it a lot more than I do Strava these days because it has a built-in tracking system into the app itself, and for touring I find it better. But if you're more the social type and you're doing local rides, then I would definitely have a look at Strava if I were you. It has the ability to obviously track your rides, like I said, and then you can share them socially, just like with Facebook. Here I've got a ride of a guy I stayed with in Georgia Savannah, and I'm just able to flick through, and then another one I think who's from Florida, I believe. So yeah, there's a bunch of different people you can follow on there. It's pretty basic to use. I've got a couple rides on here, riding up around my area up in Northern California. It's mostly where I track my rides and so on and so forth. Beautiful area if you're passing through Northern California. So yeah, anyway, let's have a look at the next app. Number 4 on my list would be Windy. Windy is an application which allows you to see the wind patterns wherever you are in the world or in the country or whatever. I found it to be reasonably accurate. I would definitely check out this app. I've just pressed the 3 dots down here and then find my location, because sometimes it just doesn't really work. And now it's obviously saying, oh look, I'm in Christchurch, New Zealand. So yeah, you can go through the whole app. Let me come up a bit closer so you can see all of those wind patterns there. It's pretty handy, anyway, is my point. Very, very handy. It can show you which way the wind's going, and that's pretty much the whole app. And then it has a bunch of other bells and whistles in there. I believe, is it on this page? No, not this one. If we tap the right hand corner, there's rain and snow, there's temperature, you can see the cloud coverage. So if I go to cloud coverage, you can see it's predominantly covered on the South Island, and then we go and move up further north, and it's a bit more sunny apparently around Auckland, patchy with clouds, and it can tell me the rain percentage, like how much rain falls is in the area, and you can scroll into the next couple days, or I think it's a week. So yeah, I highly recommend that app. But then when it comes to weather itself, the next app I would recommend, it's a very basic one, which is Google Weather. Now, I'm pretty sure anyone uses this for just checking the weather, but I've found that it's getting better and better each year that I'm using it. And now, if you just type in whatever location you want, and you can see the hourly, like it says, oh, it's going to be partly sunny, and there'll be 30% chance of rain. I've found that it's quite accurate, personally. Gives you a quick glance at where the wind's heading, which direction, and it tells you the sun and sunrise and sunset, which is really handy, so it can tell you how. Yeah, so there's a bunch of quick information that you can glance at on Google Weather, and I personally recommend it. The next one would be Google Maps. I'm pretty sure everyone uses Google Maps, and you've heard of this before. If you're not using it, then where have you been living most of your life? Under a rock, per se? Anyway, bad joke. Moving on. The nice thing with this is that the biggest feature I use on Google Maps, let me just try and zoom into one of these roads here. I've got my data on, so pardon if the internet's quite slow. The biggest feature I use is Google Street View, and I don't think there's any other service that I can think of which allows you to just hop onto the roads and see what they're like. So, you can check whether the asphalt is good, you can check you can get a rough idea maybe on traffic, depending on if there's trucks or not. You can see how wide the shoulder is. Yeah, I definitely find this useful, and you can check what the scenery is going to look like if you're going to do some filming. Yeah, it's one of the main features I use it for, and it's very quick and easy to just pan around the world and just like really easily just zoom in anywhere and start looking. So quick and easy, simple to use, and it has a cycling navigation option in there. Now, number one on my list, which I'm going to be talking about in the next couple videos, is OpenStreetMap, and it is an amazing application. I'd highly recommend it. It's OSM, and I'm not sure what the "and" part stands for, but anyway, I've got the plus version, so that's where you can download unlimited maps and you can download the plugins to use onto this application here. Now, one of the downsides with OpenStreetMaps, by the way, OpenStreetMaps is a bit like an open source sourcing maps, basically. It's like the Ubuntu or the Linux of navigation, if that makes any sense. It's just open source, I believe. And anyway, the really nice feature is how many bells and whistles you get for like £5. That's how much the application costs. Just £5, you can download all the maps all over the world. You can get the contours, lines, you can get the hill shades, you can get... It's just so customizable, and it's absolutely incredible to use, in my opinion. So, for example, one of the features I really liked when I was in cycling in New Zealand is that, no, it's not here, hang on, so one of the downsides immediately is how it's not the most intuitive app to use. There we go, click no, sorry. And then click that. No. I'm just trying to remember where to find it. There we go, sorry about that. So again, I will emphasize that it is not the easiest app to use, but once you get the hang of it, and you press a few buttons like I just did there, you will eventually find what you're looking for. Anyway, so I downloaded a GPX file, which is the Tor Aurora Tiora, I think it's called. I can't pronounce these Maori names. And I load that track onto the mapping system, and then if I zoom out here, you can then follow along this. You see the red line throughout New Zealand? So that is the tour, the GPX, the whole GPX file from top to bottom of New Zealand you can follow there. I didn't actually personally follow the exact route. I made my own route out, made my own map up. But yeah, so I'll try and give you some insight into how it works. So if we go into download maps, that's probably the first thing you're going to go onto, and you can either save the maps onto your local storage or onto your SD card. I would definitely recommend your SD card, of course. And the first thing you want to do is download the world view map, and then you can choose any other ones listed here. So you got Africa, you got Australia, you got Europe, Russia. Most roads I found have been on there, some really detailed and some even missing on Google Maps. So this is an incredibly high detailed, awesome app. Like, you just got to keep digging and you'll find really cool things with this app. So for another example, let's hop over to the configure map section, load GPX track, let's get rid of that one, and load up a ride that I just did around Christchurch with this guy I was staying with. Oh wait, that's not the one, hang on a minute. I want that one, sorry. So this one here, this little red line that you can see around Christchurch is one of the routes that I followed, and you can either load that again as a route that you want to follow, or you're probably wondering, how do I even make that route? So when you're cycling along, what you do is you press the GPX button here, and this is going to create a logging track of the whole. It'll make you a route. It will record your route is a better way to put it. So now it's recording, and I just have to like start cycling along, yada yada yada, and then I just click save the current file. I shouldn't have really done that because I don't want to just save in the middle of nowhere. But either way, that's how you do it, and then you end up with this red file, this red circle you can see down here, and then you can either load that up again and whatnot, and then a really nice feature is that when you, for example, let's say I want to go to the center of Christchurch, I hold down on the screen, I press the blue one down here, and then it comes up with the car version of the route, the cycling version, and the walking version. If we hop onto the cycling one, it'll give you a recommended route, but I honestly wouldn't follow most of these recommended routes. I'll make a video in the future on how to make your own route that you can plan out and do on your own on the PC or either on here. And then I'm just trying to, it's not loading, there we go. So now it's planned out a route from here to Christchurch, and now I go to distance down here, I click this, and I can then see the elevation. This is probably the coolest feature that you can get offline, and I don't think any other application yet can show you this detail offline. So now it tells me that, oh, I'm going to be averaging 8 meters of altitude, and okay, that's actually nothing, that's practically flat. Sorry, I got a cat in the background, sorry if you heard that. And you can then save that, print that, you can press go and follow the navigation.
29 kilometers, time is 1 hour 47 minutes.
And then in the top right it shows you the altitude, which you can customize all of this, and you just have to open up the map and start using it, and you can see all these customizations and plugins you can add in. It's just a really awesome app, and I highly recommend it for if you're gonna be doing some cycling. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. That's it. Subscribe if you can, like, share around the video if it helped. Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any other suggestions for apps to use, leave it down in the comments below. But anyway, subscribe and watch videos and yada yada. Thanks. Ciao.